Welcome to Trauma Bay. Every religion begins with a story, a moment in time, a claimed revelation, an unseen voice, a sacred book written or dictated. But here's the thing. Stories don't equal truth. And organizing those stories into hierarchies, temples, rituals, and laws doesn't make them more valid. It just makes them harder to question. Organized religion is built on the idea that one group of people, usually men, were given absolute knowledge from an invisible being, and that everyone else must accept this without evidence. What makes this illogical is how wildly these divine truths contradict each other. One God says, "Don't eat pork." Another says, "Make sacrifices." A third says, "Worship me through love." A fourth, through fear. They can't all be right. But organized religion isn't designed to resolve this. It's designed to avoid the question altogether. It demands loyalty, not logic. If we heard a stranger on the street say they spoke to a god last night who told them how everyone should live, we'd question their sanity. But when that claim is old enough, dressed in robes and rituals, we call it sacred. That shift isn't because the idea got better over time. It's because power got involved. Once a belief system is institutionalized, it stops being about truth and starts being about control. Religions often claim moral authority, but let's look closer. Why does an all-knowing God need an organization of people to speak for him? Why does that divine message need money, temples, political alliances, or armies to spread? If it were truth, wouldn't it be self-evident? Instead, religions rely on persuasion through fear of punishment after death, fear of social exclusion, fear of sin. This isn't enlightenment. It's emotional manipulation dressed as virtue. Look at how religion organizes itself. There's always a chain of command. Priests, imams, rabbis, monks, titles that separate the holy from the rest. This division creates dependency. You're told you can't reach the divine directly. You need guidance, confession, forgiveness from someone else. The system is built to keep you small, while elevating others as gatekeepers to truth. That's not spirituality. That's a bureaucracy. And let's not ignore the prophets. Some of the wealthiest institutions in the world are religious. From the Vatican's art collections and global properties to megachurch pastors living in mansions, there's a clear link between organized belief and economic gain. If the goal is spiritual growth, why does it cost anything at all? Why does salvation come with a donation box? Many religions claim humility, but organized religion is obsessed with being right. It doesn't coexist, it competes. Look at history. The Crusades, the Inquisition, religious wars in India, the Middle East, Europe. These weren't fringe events. These were orchestrated by the very institutions claiming moral leadership. If organized religion were truly a source of peace, why has it caused so much bloodshed? Peace doesn't need to be enforced with swords. Modern science has replaced superstition with data, theories with testable models. Yet religion resists change. When Galileo said the earth moves around the sun, he was silenced by the church. Today, evolution is still denied by religious groups, not because the evidence is weak, but because it threatens their narrative. This isn't about facts. It's about control over minds. Take a step back and look at how religion treats outsiders. There's always an us and a them. Believers and non-believers, saved and damned. This binary thinking justifies exclusion, discrimination, and even violence. It encourages people to believe that morality only comes from their system, as if compassion, honesty, and love are exclusive to one belief. That's not morality, that's tribalism. Organized religion also creates impossible standards. It tells you that you're born flawed, that you must constantly repent, that guilt is a sign of virtue. This creates a cycle of shame, one that the institution offers to fix. But it never really goes away, because if it did, the system would lose its grip on you. It thrives on your doubt, not your peace. Religious texts are treated as untouchable, yet they are full of contradictions. One page says love your neighbor. Another calls for stoning the disobedient. Some books promote slavery, treat women as property, justify genocide. Defenders say these were products of their time, but then why are they still taught as eternal truth? If morality evolves, why anchor it to texts that resist evolution? People often say religion gives life meaning, but meaning doesn't come from rules. It comes from experience, relationships, growth, knowledge. You don't need a priest to tell you what matters. You don't need a sacred text to know that harming others is wrong. If you removed religion tomorrow, kindness wouldn't disappear, but fear-based obedience might. Look at the religions of the past that have disappeared. Greek, Roman, Norse, Egyptian. At one point, millions truly believed in them. They had temples, priests, rituals. Today, we call them myths. So what makes current religions any different? Is it just because they're still practiced? Truth isn't measured by popularity. It's measured by evidence, by coherence, by whether it makes sense when you strip away the costumes. And that's the thing. Organized religion depends on appearances. The robes, the architecture, the chants, the ceremonies. These are designed to feel significant, to overwhelm your senses, to create an emotional impression. But emotion isn't truth. Just because something feels deep doesn't mean it is. The more elaborate the performance, the more likely it's hiding a hollow core. In every religion, there's a story of a founder who had a vision or message, but over time, that story gets edited, politicized, retold, and weaponized. The message gets buried under centuries of interpretation and tradition. What started as an idea becomes an institution, and institutions don't care about truth. They care about survival. Religion often says it's about love, but that love is conditional. You are loved if you obey. You are saved if you conform. You are accepted if you believe. That's not love. That's compliance. Real love doesn't require belief. It doesn't threaten. It doesn't say, worship me or else. People will argue that religion helps the poor, builds community, comforts the grieving. That may be true, but that doesn't validate the belief system. A lie can still do good things. A placebo can still make you feel better. But if we build our societies on illusions, those illusions will eventually crack. And when they do, people feel lost, not because the truth failed them, but because they were never allowed to question the falsehood. There's something deeply human in wanting to understand our place in the universe, but organized religion doesn't offer understanding. It offers answers without questions. It demands faith over thought. And when thought is punished, progress stops. You don't need religion to wonder about life. You don't need an institution to tell you how to be good. You don't need a building to feel awe or a title to find purpose. The universe doesn't need our rituals. It doesn't reward belief. It just is. So when someone says that organized religion is necessary for meaning, morality, or peace, ask, necessary for whom? Beneficial to whom? Because the people at the top benefit the most, and the people at the bottom are often left with guilt, fear, and silence. It's not that humans should stop searching for meaning, but we should stop outsourcing that search to systems that were designed to control, not enlighten. The real courage isn't in believing, it's in questioning. Not once, but continuously. Because truth doesn't need to be protected by dogma. It survives questioning, it welcomes doubt, and it never depends on authority to exist.